This week on VolleyDons Weekly, starring head coach Ryan Rock-Parat, we'll talk about our 2 losses to Ball State this week, one down in Muncie and then one at home on Friday. We'll then visit with Pellegrin Vargas, one of our freshman outside hitters who's been carrying our team offensively. We'll talk a little bit about his transition from San Juan into Fort Wayne and some other things have to do with his IPFW career. And then we'll bring head coach Ryan Rock-Parat back and we'll talk about our 2 matches on Thursday against Loyola and Saturday against Lewis. Come on back and see you soon for VolleyDons. Welcome everybody to VolleyDons Weekly, starring head coach Ryan Rock-Parat. I'm your host, JW Kike for assistant coach, and with me today we have the man, the myth, the legend, the face of the franchise, head coach Ryan Rock-Parat. Coach, how are we doing today?
First off,
we gotta do the sponsors too. I'm sorry. Let's quick do the sponsors. We got Alco, Active Ankle, Asics, Glenbrook Dodge, and Hyatt Place. Excuse me. And sorry, Coach. A quick thank you to all of them. I apologize to everybody.
Been with us through thick and thin, and of course through the old show, which is the Arnie Ball Show. First and foremost, stop calling me Ryan Rock-Parat. Only criminals, the most vile of criminals, have 3 names. And do you know that?
Give me an example.
Oh, I don't know. John Hinckley, whatever his name is. I forgot his name.
Stumped you there. That was a pretty quick stuff.
Usually it's the 3, that you always have the 3.
John Wilkes Booth.
There you go.
Is that something that you're talking about there?
That's John Wilkes Booth. Isn't Hinckley the guy who shot Reagan?
I don't know who that is. Yeah,
he shot Reagan. Had 3 names. You gotta stop using 3 names.
So what? You just Rock-Parat?
Rock-Parat. That's all you do.
It doesn't roll off the tongue the same way.
My mother
as
named me Ryan.
Rock-Parat
She's
does.
the only person who calls me Ryan. Everybody else calls me Rock. So there you go.
Especially in Fort Wayne, everybody calls you Rock.
Everybody knows me as Rock. I'm willing to give people Rock. I'm not willing to give people Ryan. There's a big difference.
And they're two different people. You always say that they're 2 different people, Rock and Ryan.
Learn that from Johnny Carson himself. So just so you know, learn that from Mr. Carson.
Well, Coach, we played 2 matches last week on Tuesday.
Why do we want to talk
down
about
in
2
Muncie.
losses?
What you want to just talk about the upcoming matches all week, or what do you want to talk about? It's your show.
I've been learning about the Puerto Rican culture.
We have Pele coming up. I mean, you can do his segment if you'd like. You can really learn about the Puerto Rican culture.
I mean, not only do I speak French, I speak obviously.
Un poco.
Un poco?
A little Spanish.
Well, today is we're taping this show on St. Valentine's Day.
Un poco Espanol. I don't know. There's probably a better way to say it. We'll ask Pele when he comes on, but a little Espanol.
St. Valentine's Day.
It is Valentine's Day.
And I said to somebody earlier today, tu este hermosa, so I wish them a very happy. Pellegrin knows it. See, Pellegrin's smiling back there. So we had a little.
You're so fluent after that one language.
And tonight for dinner, we're going to have some El Pulpo, so it'll be very nice. So listen, I speak the language. The romance language I speak.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot of romance. They're all Latin roots, French, Spanish, all
Latin?
those are Latin roots.
Latin?
So
Yes.
You speak Latin too?
In vino
wow.
veritas.
You are a man of many talents.
Vino veritas.
Man of many talents. So
okay.
Let's go to volleyball, I guess. This is supposed to be a volleyball show. It is about you, I guess, so we can do as many tangents as you like. But 2 matches against Ball State last week. The first one on Tuesday, unfortunately, we lost in 3 sets. Kind of had to pull a couple people as the match went on. Didn't necessarily play our best volleyball, and tough arena down there, Worthen Arena, big place, vast space. We're not really necessarily used to that with intimate environment in Gates Sports Center.
Agi qua agis.
I don't know what that means.
That's Latin for do what you know well.
It did, and I don't think we did that very well.
That's correct.
At Muncie.
Here's the deal in Muncie. Everybody talks about the big arena, Worthen Arena, 25 years old, I believe, is that beautiful facility. They've renovated, very, very nice. But the volleyball court is still 9 meters by 9 meters. So I don't know dimensions. I mean, maybe. In terms
30
of
by
the
30
facility.
for those American fans.
Yeah,
out there.
I'm sorry. I'm in the metric system. You guys are in the imperial system here. We just didn't play very well, especially in the first set where we got blasted. We didn't come out ready to play. Second set, I thought we competed, but unforced errors did us in. And then the third set, we just couldn't get anything going. And Ball State's a very nice volleyball team. I think they're the most improved team. Them and Grand Canyon are the 2 most improved volleyball teams, in my opinion, this season. And it's a tough place to play. We haven't won many matches down in Ball State. So overall, Tuesday was not very good.
And thankfully, we got the chance for a redemption match to bring in the exact same team we played on Tuesday and Friday in front of 1,300, I believe, fans, screaming fans at the Gate Center. It was a really cool environment. The 2007 team was inducted into the IPFW Athletics Hall of Fame, and Raul Papaleo had his number 9 jersey number retired to that match as well. So one of the best environments at at the Gates Sports Center in a very long time for our volleyball team, and a ton of fans and a really cool environment for our guys. We played a really, really good first 3 sets, and unfortunately, we didn't take the first one, but we won the next 2, so we're up 2-1, and then we kind of lost some steam, if you will. I think our service pressure went downhill into the 4th set, and we just couldn't capitalize and lost in 5. I know, as a little dead space there. You don't want to talk about that match,
It's a great analysis.
Nothing to talk about in that match?
What do you need me to talk about?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I feel like some of the bad things in that match were that we didn't respond very well to the pressure they brought in the 4th set.
Well, let me talk about the match first, and I'm going to talk about all the extracurriculars afterwards. We did play very well, actually, for the first 3 sets. A couple things. Number one, in the first set, however, there was some controversy because in the first set, the scoring system went awry.
It was wrong. It was actually wrong.
And not that it cost us the first set or not, but we had a lead in the first set, and it would have changed the outcome of the match, I'm convinced of.
For all those who weren't at the match, we went back and we actually statted it. The score was 17-15, but unfortunately the score sheet, the official score sheet, which is what the scoreboard goes by, had it at 16-16 because of an attack, back row attack error. So actually the score was supposed to be 17-15 in our favor, but it got reversed to 16-16 because the official score sheet was wrong. And there's really no argument you can make in that situation. It's just the official score sheet is wrong, and you got to go by whatever is said there.
Yeah, and again, it's not about the officiating or whatever, because that did not cost us the match. It just changed the momentum of that first set and how the first set ended up playing out. We come back after losing the first set. We win the next 2, and we actually whitewashed them pretty badly in the second set. I think they maybe scored 14 points. And in the third set, we beat them 25-20 or something like that.
Yeah, it was like 17-20, I think, those 2 sets.
And then what happened in the 4th set is we, as a young volleyball team, take our foot off the gas, and they're an experienced volleyball team that have 3 seniors, 2 juniors, and a freshman playing. And as soon as you do that, and they build a little bit of momentum, they started to block the ball. We made unforced errors, I think 8 in that 4th set. Our serving became a little loose, and Ball State took full advantage of it. Then you get into the 5th set, and Ball State dominated us in the 5th set. The good is the fact that we put ourselves in a position to win, being up 2-1, and doing some really nice things. I mean, we dominated offensively in the first set. We had 409 in the first set. We dominated the second set by having 8 team blocks in that second set, and in the third set, we outbeat them in their transition game, which is digging, and then the conversion to the offense part. All those things very good. The bad part, of course, is the fact that we let go of the things that we were doing to put us in a position to win, and then losing in 5-15-10 in the 5th set, and that was a very devastating loss. The external stuff.
And really quickly, just the external stuff in the match with all the celebrations we had.
I'm going to spend 60 seconds on it because I think it's very, very important. Number one, Raul Papaleo, former player from the island of Puerto Rico, had his jersey retired. An individual who played in the Olympics. He and Loy Ball are the only 2 individuals ever from IPFW to play in the Olympic Games. Raul played beach volleyball in the Olympic Games a few years ago. Very nice. His number 9 retired Friday night against our match in Ball State. Before that was a beautiful ceremony honoring the induction of the 2007 men's volleyball team that made it all the way to the national finals, losing to Irvine, beating number 1 Pepperdine in the national semifinal, then losing to Irvine in the national final in 4 amazing sets. And those individuals, I was a part of that, being as an assistant coach, got inducted into the Hall of Fame, and it was wonderful to see so many guys return from all over the country, all over the world, to be a part of that ceremony. We had an awesome weekend. It was great to see everybody, and it was a really, really special weekend indeed.
Yeah, a great weekend, something that was kind of long overdue for Raul, having gone to the 2004 Olympic Games. It's been a long time since we probably should have retired that number, and it was well overdue that we retired his number for everything he's done for our community, and also well overdue to have the 2007 team back in Fort Wayne to celebrate their amazing accomplishments in the Final Four.
Beautiful.
So thanks everybody for showing up to that match, and if you were there, thank you so much for showing up to the Gates Sports Center for that amazing celebration. Coming up next, we'll have freshman outside hitter Pellegrin Vargas.
I am an entomologist, which means I study insects, specifically insects that transmit diseases and pathogens that cause diseases in plants. I mean, it's incredible the amount of great research that's going on here, where students can get involved. So many undergraduate research support and travel opportunities that are here. I feel like, you know, they can really reach for the stars right here in IPFW.
Welcome back, everybody, to VolleyDons Weekly. With me now, we have freshman outside hitter Pellegrin Vargas from San Juan, Puerto Rico. We've heard a lot about this guy when we're recruiting him from a lot of different Puerto Ricans. Obviously, we've had a really big Puerto Rican culture here with IPFW men's volleyball and Fort Wayne men's volleyball. A lot of All-Americans from Piqui Soto, Norman Almondovar, and Raul Papaleo. We just talked about Raul a little bit. So a really cool culture of Puerto Rican volleyball players. And we were really lucky to get Pellegrin to commit to come here. And I think he's had a great freshman season so far. So talk a little bit about why you wanted to come to IPFW and kind of just what you knew of IPFW while you were back home in Puerto Rico.
Well, I had heard a lot about the Puerto Ricans that had come here. I had heard that they had been very successful too. And when initially you guys contacted me, I thought it was a great opportunity for me. And finally, I thought it's a good school. I get a good degree from here, and obviously I get what I like to do, which is play volleyball and get better at it.
Yeah, and one of the cool things for us when we were recruiting Pele, and I think for some other Puerto Ricans, some of our alumni who are Puerto Rican, his dad was a very, very good volleyball player in Puerto Rico, one of kind of the all-time legends out there. So it's kind of something cool from our perspective that we were recruiting Pele, and all of our alumni knew your dad as being one of those great players and somebody who they looked up to as a player.
And
so
we got the same name too.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool from that perspective. Talk a little bit about just your dad and his influence on your volleyball career throughout while you're growing up back home.
It's been definitely why I play this game. When I saw the things he did, I was like, I want to do what you did, Dad. And he was like, I already wrote my book, now you write yours. So that's what has driven me throughout my entire career. And I think he's been the greatest example I could have had. So I just look up to him every day and try to be the most like him I can every day.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure he is very, very proud of you being here and playing in the States and also getting a great education. I know that's a big thing for a lot of people on the island to make sure they're getting a good education before they go back. And a lot of our Puerto Ricans are playing pro, so maybe that's something you want to do back home later. But as long as you get your education, you can do whatever you want. So really cool stuff from you, and we're happy to have you here. Talk a little bit about the transition from San Juan to Fort Wayne, some of the struggles you might have had, some of the things that may be a little bit easier than maybe what you thought, something like that.
What every Puerto Rican will tell you is a cold, definitely. They're not used to that. It's very different. I mean, I was not used to waking up so early to practice every day, to practice the length of the time we had. I obviously love it. I'm not complaining about it, but it's something that you got to get used to when you do the transition. The cold, not being with your family, and stuff too, your friends. You got to make new friends here too. So just getting used to it is a little hard, but if you like it and you know it's worth it for the long run, then you have no problem with dealing with it.
Yeah, talk a little bit about maybe the transition kind of with the Spanish-speaking Puerto Rican area where it's English is kind of more of a second language there for a lot of people. A lot of people know and speak it well, but it's more of a second language compared to here where all you're doing is pretty much speaking English to everybody. We have a couple of Puerto Ricans on our team. Actually, only one more. It's just you and Gabe this year.
Well, Yvonne sometimes.
Well, and Yvonne, our volunteer assistant. So you get to speak Spanish a little bit around people, but most often it's just all English all the time. So has that been a transition for you? I know you're one of the Puerto Ricans who came in with really good English knowledge and are very well versed in the language. But was that an issue maybe for you for the first couple months, or were you okay with it?
I think I was okay with it. I had the opportunity to study at an all-English school in 7th and 8th grade, so I kind of got used to it before going into high school. So I kind of were in that environment for a short period of time. And I think it hasn't been too hard. I mean, you guys have been pretty comprehensive, and sometimes I don't know what to say, when to stuff like that. And I saw Graydon's interview, and he helps me too. So that's good that we have people that speak Spanish and people that understand Spanish.
Yeah, I think it's funny because we've had Puerto Ricans come into our gym kind of in a wide range of where they are in the English speaking and understanding English and being able to speak it very well. Ramon and Yvonne and yourself have come in from English-speaking schools and pretty much only spoken English in those schools. So it wasn't a big transition for a lot of people like you and Yvonne and Ramon. where they have done that a lot. They've interacted a lot in the language. People like Eddie and people like Omar, when they came in having just gone to a Spanish-speaking school, it's a much bigger transition for them in trying to overcome that. Did you talk to some of those guys, some of those younger alumni, about how IPFW was maybe before you came here, for having maybe known them from Puerto Rico?
I've heard it's changed a lot. It's become a bigger school. The Gate Center has changed a lot. But talking about that talking in English and stuff like that, it makes me admire them even more, because if it's been kind of a little bit tough for me at the beginning, imagine for them that they couldn't manage that language. So when I came here, there was a lot of things I didn't know of how the Division I and the IPFW men's volleyball, Fort Wayne men's volleyball works. And after that, I just look up more to them, because I knew all the sacrifice they had to go through to get where they are today.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about the volleyball aspect of what we've been doing here. Obviously, that's a big part of why you came to IPFW, pretty much the reason why you came to IPFW. What did you expect from the volleyball? Is it what you expect from the volleyball? Is it higher maybe than what you were expecting? Stuff like that?
I don't know. I don't know. I thought Division I was my dream. I thought everything was gonna be super good and super easy, but it's not the way you get things.
Yeah.
You gotta go through sacrifice and hard work and stuff like that. So that's what's got me really happy here, that I know that if I do everything that you guys ask to me, if I do that, I think I can become a better player. So that's what's given me purpose here.
How has it felt for you in the volleyball realm of things to kind of be thrust into, and I know you've experienced this a lot in the club game, but kind of thrust into kind of the guy, kind of the out-of-system attacker, the go-to attacker, not something that a lot of freshmen get thrust into their first year on campus. Talk a little bit about that and kind of maybe having to overcome maybe that difference of just getting to the level of Division I, but then having to be the guy for us right away.
It's a big responsibility. I mean, when I'm playing, I think about the guys in the bench. They don't have the opportunity sometimes to play, and I think hey, they sacrifice the same as me, so I got to give my best.
Yeah.
It's a big responsibility. I've learned to deal with it through time, and I think it's just gonna make me bigger and stronger and be more experienced with the game.
Yeah. What's your mindset at 24, 24? What is that self-talk? What are you thinking to yourself? Hey, I want the ball. It's a really Puerto Rican mentality, and I always tell you, you gotta be more Puerto Rican. You gotta have fun. You gotta be crazy.
Definitely.
And I think that wanting the ball late is one of those mentalities that a lot of you guys have coming off the island. Is that something that you're telling yourself as it comes to 24, 24, 23, 23, stuff like that?
Of course. I mean, if they trust me, I gotta trust myself too, because I can't let them be. How can I say?
Let them down?
Let them down. Yeah, I can't let them down. I just have to take responsibility, rise to the occasion, and do my thing.
Yeah.
That's what I got to do. I mean, if they trust me and you guys trust me and everyone needs me to put the ball down, make a big play, I got to do it.
We talked a little bit about when you're sitting over there pre-show. You had said pressure is a privilege. Rock says that all the time. Coach Rock says that all the time. Pressure is a privilege. And you said it to me while I was sitting here. Pressure is a privilege, J-Dub. Does that kind of ring true with you and kind of how you've kind of been the guy throughout your entire career through club and now into college, maybe not expecting to be the guy as a freshman, but you are. So, a lot of sets in some tough situations. Is that something that kind of rings true with you? Did that statement kind of ring true? Hey, it's a cool thing to be here and you have the pressure and feel the pressure.
Yeah, if you have the privilege, then that means you're doing something right. So you just got to keep doing what you're doing. Obviously, you always can get better. So you can't be conformist with what you've done, and you just got to keep working.
Yeah, continue to push the envelope and push the limits, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Make yourself the best player.
You can be better every day. I mean, whatever you do, if it's good, it's not good enough. You can't be happy with it.
Can't be content with where you're at.
That's a word.
Yeah, there you go.
I was looking for it.
Hey, you did a really good job, Pele. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure to be around you. You're just a really, really good kid. So thanks, Pele, for being here. We'll see Coach Rock next. Come back after the break.
One way to characterize my work is that I'm curious how decisions go wrong in medicine. How does one respect a patient or research subject while still trying to find robust conclusions that can guide future medical practice?
I study these little tiny insects called soybean aphids and soybean thrips that transmit diseases to soybean plants. And it's incredible the amount of great research that's going on here.
My field, modern animation, is a growing field in importance because it's not related with cinematics or movies or entertainment industry. It's related with science.
I teach performance of poetry, so we're addressing how to perform poetry as well as how to find poetry. My research and creative endeavor lies in what I call urban Midwestern sensibility.
Working with students is my favorite part of this job, and I'm trying to equip them with the skills they need to be competitive candidates in the world, whatever world they're going to choose to pursue.
Welcome back to VolleyDons Weekly. I'm your host, JW Keycafer. With me again, we have head coach Ryan Rock-Parat. And a thank you to the rest of our sponsors, IAB Bank, Indiana Physical Therapy, Molten, O&E, and Pizza Hut. Coach, unfortunately, I said Ryan Rock-Parat again, and I'm sure I'm not going to hear the end of that one as we go through the segment here. But talk a little bit about Pellegrin Vargas and what he's meant both to our volleyball team and just the kind of kid he is, because not a better kid, I think, on this earth to coach than the one that Pele is. He works his tail off, gets good grades. I just think he's done some crazy things for our program, and it's been really good for our program.
You are a suck-up.
I'm a suck-up, yeah, huh?
You are a suck-up. Well, I will wager, I don't want to say wager, bet, I'm a betting man. Pellegrin Vargas is going to have a successful career here at Fort Wayne and go on to do some really amazing things in life.
Yeah, no, that's an easy bet, I think.
Pellegrin
I think
is one of the
bet.
nicest individuals I've ever had a chance to work with. Nice young man, wonderful family. I had a chance to meet his family. He's grounded, he's cultured. Obviously, the language thing is amazing between Spanish and English, so fluent. Great student, no problems. I mean, he's the epitome of why coaches coach. Yeah. And he's the epitome of why people do things. And he's not alone. I mean, we have so many tremendous, great athletes that are the exact same way. But you can listen to Pellegrin as a young man here in Fort Wayne doing some amazing things. And his adjustment, it's really amazing to listen to people speak. And that's why I love listening to people speak. And that's why I pay attention to what goes on back there, even though you don't think I do. It's really amazing to listen to him talk about the past and those individuals that came before him and what the groundwork they had to lay down in order for them to be successful in all the things. And listening to Pellegrin talk, it's really amazing because when you're a young person and you have the appreciative value, what I call the appreciative value, I think it's a unique gift and perspective to have because not a lot of people, sadly, on planet Earth have that perspective. And Pellegrin Vargas is a gem.
Yeah, not only a good volleyball player, and is going to do some very good things for our volleyball program for 4 years, but just a really good kid and a really good person. And it's great to have people like that in your gym, as well as our entire team is just really good kids. And we have a good group of them, but that's really one of the best ones we got. So
that's true.
Just really good kids.
That's very, very true.
Coach, we play 2 matches this week coming up. Thursday, we go up to downtown Chicago and play Loyola. And then on Saturday, we go out to the suburbs, the southwest suburbs, and play Lewis and Romeoville. Talk a little bit about some of the challenges that both of those teams bring.
Well, everybody in the Chicago area hates me, so that's a list about 3 or 4 people that can't stand me out of the Chicago area, so that's not very good. I'm really looking forward to the matches, actually. We played Loyola twice in the fall and competed with them very, very well. I mean, they have no doubt about it, they have the best middle in the conference, if not the country. Jeff Jedrick, 6'11". He'll be on the national team in 2020. I mean, this man is a stud volleyball player.
Training on the national team this summer as well.
Yeah, so it's going to be a daunting challenge, obviously, because we're going to have to serve the ball very effectively so we can neutralize him in the middle and just worry about the pins. So hopefully, and we usually play well. We got a lot of guys from the Chicago area, so they're always excited to go back to their homeland. To perform.
Their homeland, huh? It's like a different country over there in Chicago, their homeland. I think that we always seem to play well at Loyola. Maybe not at Lewis, but at Loyola we seem to always play well. Last year we took Loyola to 5 when they're in the top 10 of the nation. Talk a little bit about maybe why that is, that we play so well up there.
Well, I think the facility is amazing. Even the old gym, now they use the new gym, the Gentile Center, which hosted the national tournament a couple years ago. It's a beautiful facility. It's not as big as Worthing Arena. I think guys are really comfortable there, and it's an amazing environment to be a part of. And our guys from the Chicago area always seem to play well, and we have some great, we talk about rivalry, and I know Ball State's a rivalry given our past and our history and so forth, but actually our truest rival for the last probably 7 to 10 years has been Loyola Chicago.
Yeah, those 2 years where they were almost unstoppable with the national championships, but other than that, we've played them very, very tight. And then going on to Lewis on Saturday, talk a little bit about the challenges that team can bring down in Romeoville.
I think Lewis is the second best ball control team in our conference. They are very, very tough. Young, athletic, hungry, really well coached with the former coach of the year, Dan Friend. I love their facility as well, the Neil Carey Arena. That's a beautiful, small, intimate place. They may only have 500 people in there, maybe, but it feels like it's 2,000.
Capacity probably is like 500.
Oh my goodness gracious, it's insane. But they have a very, very nice volleyball team. They're very well disciplined with their block, which sets up their defense. I think they serve and pass very efficiently. They had a huge win last weekend, coming back from 0-2 down at McKendree, which is going to give them a big boost. They're 7th in the country. They want to get back to the national tournament, so they're playing for a lot. Obviously, every match is in the conference, so that'll be a very tough one to go. And I mean, every match is going to be tough from here on out, but I think it's a match that we can definitely compete in.
And Ball State's left-handed player, Matt Shevs, was really tough for us to stop all week. Coming up on these two volleyball teams, Ben Playstead from Loyola and Mitch Perinar from Lewis, both big left-handed players as well. We got to find a way to stop those two. Talk a little bit about how we have to make some adjustments defensively to stop the big lefty opposites.
It's like something is in the water for these big opposites to come in that are left-handed. Matt Shevs, who will be a conference player for Ball State, no doubt. Well, Perinar's unbelievable because Perinar, here's the difference between Perinar and those other guys you mentioned with Playstead and Shevs. Perinar can serve the ball. He's the best server of those. Playstead is cerebral when he plays the game. Doesn't hit the ball with a lot of speed, but he places the ball in the court really well. And Shevs is developing as a freshman as a total volleyball player because he can put up some good blocks and handle the ball as well. So that's the difference between the three, and I hope we can neutralize them and get some victories.
So thank you to Pellegrin Vargas, freshman outside from Puerto Rico, for being here, and thank you once again to head coach Rock Parat for being here. Thank you for tuning
Muchas
in.
Gracias.
Thank you for tuning
Merci
in.
beaucoup.
We'll see you next time and see you soon.
Happy St.
Until then,
Valentine's
get your serves
Day.
in.
Happy St. Valentine's Day.